Hey, true crime fanatics, this is Claire.
And I'm Andy.
You're tuned in to the Homicide Hobbies podcast, which is a podcast for people who love to hear about the horrendous crimes that people commit. Enjoy. An unsolved case. Just raising awareness on the prowl for anybody with information.
Yeah.
We aren't, but if you have information, do you have which...
I do.
Sheriff's Department
I will get into all of that. This is a case that was given to us by a Facebook fan. And I know it's not Thursday, but we just thought we'd bring awareness to it. This isn't our typical case because there is no bad guy to crack jokes at their stupidness. So this will be more informational. And if you guys have any information, we'll give you phone numbers that you can reach out to whomever. Okay?
Sounds like a plan.
So the victim we're going to discuss is Tammy Zywicki. Some trigger warnings: stabbing, kidnapping, and rape. Also important to note, this case is unsolved. It's a very, very cold case. So let's get into it. Tammy was murdered August 23rd or 24th of 1992 in Missouri. There is a Facebook page that's run by, I believe, Tammy's friends and family. We'll include the link to their Facebook page on our page, or you can search it out. It's called Who Killed Tammy Zywicki? Zywicki is spelled Zywicki.
How old was she?
She was 21 when she was murdered. So some of the details of this case are limited because, again, it is an open case. But we do have some stuff, and we'll go over that now. Also, important numbers to take down. Illinois State Police Special Agent Jorge Fonseca. His phone number is 815-726-6377, extension 286. And also, you could reach out to the FBI Chicago Field Division, and their phone number, which will be in our case notes, is 312-421-6700. And callers can remain anonymous. There is a reward if you have information that leads to the capture of whoever killed Tammy.
And shout out to the killer. If you'd like to come clean to us, we'll help you turn yourself in.
Right?
That way, Tammy's family and friends can have some closure of what happened and who done it.
Yeah.
And we'll put in a good word for you in jail so you don't get skull fucked to death. Just maybe a skull divot, just not to death.
Okay.
Since you want to go raping little girls.
So Tammy Zywicki was born March 13th, 1971. Tammy was from New Jersey. She was headed back to college for her senior year in her white 1985 Pontiac T1000. But first she had to drop off her younger brother at Northwestern University in Evanston, Illinois. So they were making the trek from New Jersey to Illinois, and then she was going to be headed to Grinnell College in Iowa. Tammy was last seen alive in central Illinois between 3:10 p.m. and 4:00 p.m. on August 23rd, 1992, near mile marker 83. There are some witnesses that said they saw a tractor trailer that had stopped right behind her car, and also eyewitnesses that report a pickup truck that stopped to try to help Tammy. Apparently, she was pulled over on the side of the road with the hood of her car open, and she's trying to fix something.
Seems weird to me that, I don't know about you, but when I've been driving, when there's tractor trailers coming up, by the time you can see a car stopped, how the heck did he have, if a tractor trailer stopped to help her, how the heck was he able to stop anywhere near her car?
I have no idea. The driver to the semi was described as a white man between the ages of 35 to 40 and over 6 feet tall with dark bushy hair, which that was a heck of a description though, because 35 to 40, man, that's a very specific
trucker.
You know what I mean? Well, like if you're driving down a highway, how can you gauge somebody's age. You can't see whether they're wrinkled.
They also didn't catch the guy, so
That's what I'm saying. Like, but the day that Tammy was kidnapped, a state trooper found her car on the side of the road and it was ticketed for being abandoned. The next day, August 24th, 1992, the car was towed from the side of the road. And it was also the same day that Tammy's mother, Joanne, had called state police to report that her daughter had never made it back to her college dorm room. On September 1st, 1992, 9 days after the 21-year-old's car was found and towed away, Tammy's body was found. She was found by a passing motorist in Missouri. So she was last seen in Illinois. Then her body was found in Missouri. She was wrapped tight in a blanket that was sealed in duct tape hundreds of miles away from where her car was found. Tammy's body was found on a highway in rural Missouri along I-44 in Lawrence County. Tammy had...
Was it easily accessible by a semi?
So as far as I'm aware, it's kind of just a strip of road. So I would say yes. Tammy had duct tape over her mouth. Tammy had been sexually assaulted. She suffered blunt force trauma to her head. She had been stabbed to death. Important to note, she'd been stabbed with a small, sharp item which caused internal bleeding, and she'd been stabbed in an unusual pattern of 7 stab wounds surrounding her heart, and she was also stabbed once in her right arm, which that's...
Defensive, maybe?
I thought maybe the right arm was like a defensive one, but 7 stab wounds around the heart?
Well, if she's battling,
Yeah, but there wasn't a final blow to the heart. Tammy's body was wrapped in a Kenworth blanket, sealed with the duct tape that I mentioned earlier, and tossed out like garbage on the side of the road. Tammy's abduction and murder attracted national attention, mainly because it crossed state lines, and she's a young college student who essentially just vanished and then turned up murdered. Illinois State Police launched a short-lived multi-state 14 investigator task force that called in local forces and the FBI. They noted there were some personal items of Tammy's that were missing: a Canon 35mm camera, a Loris brand musical wristwatch that played the tune "Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head." The watch was seen in a photo released by Illinois State Police, and we will post that on our Facebook page. The watch had a green umbrella on its face and a green band. Also missing was a red and white soccer patch with the monogram St. Giles Soccer Club, Greenville, South Carolina. So if anybody knows of these missing items, maybe reach out and let investigators know. An eyewitness reported that she worked at a medical facility and said that the wife of a man who fit the truck driver's description, and the husband was a truck driver and an ex-con named Lonnie. The wife had come in for a routine blood test, and while there, she told this witness that worked there about a musical wristwatch that her husband had just given her that matched the description of Tammy's missing watch. So police do some investigating, and this ex-con trucker, his name was Lonnie Burbowit. He was considered the prime suspect of the Illinois State Police investigators, or given his wife a watch similar to the one that Tammy owned. And as soon as they start checking into this, the watch disappears. It's never found.
That's fucking suspicious.
Yes. He was questioned. Lonnie, they brought him in, questioned him, but they never formally charged him. The watch, like I said, was never found. Lonnie did provide blood and hair samples to the investigators to be tested. However, just a few short weeks after launching the task force, so keep in mind, she was found September 1st, 1992. By February 1993, this task force disbanded, citing lack of progress, and shortly after, Tammy's case went cold.
I don't understand how there wasn't anything significant on the stuff at the scene. Like the duct tape and all?
Yeah. Because have you ever tried, like, I don't understand how you could wear gloves with duct tape. So you know that there's probably some fingerprints on there.
Well, something. Even the
Yeah.
sheet, was it, I mean, was it in her car? Because if it wasn't, I would think that
So it was a blanket, and we'll get more on detail with that in a second. But so Tammy's case is cold. No one has ever been arrested in Tammy's murder. Lonnie, their only main suspect, died at age 41 of AIDS in 2002, which that's still 10 years after she went missing and then found murdered. It's just, the FBI later stated that Lonnie should have been formally arrested. They cited the reasons that Lonnie lived close to the Missouri area where Tammy's body was discovered. Lonnie had also been visiting family who lived minutes from where Tammy first disappeared. Lonnie was also a truck driver. And then to mention the blanket Tammy's body was found wrapped up in had a Kenworth logo, which matched the same type of truck that Lonnie drove, which is also suspicious.
what the heck?
And let's not forget about the watch that he gave his wife that goes missing once he realizes people are considering him a suspect.
Yeah, he's looking pretty good on it.
Yeah. Lonnie also had a criminal record. Police considered him to be a violent felon. He committed 2 armed robberies in the 80s, and Lonnie served 3 concurrent 20-year sentences before being released and paroled in 1990. He looks pretty good for it, but they were never able to find any evidence. It was all just circumstantial evidence. And in July of 2007,
Yeah, but
FBI
couldn't they have? Did his semi match the description of what was seen supposedly helping Tammy?
depends on which reports you read.
Because what I mean, at the very least, couldn't they have looked in? I guess they needed some sort of a reason to look, but he was never even like arrested. Oh,
Yeah.
I guess
It's frustrating.
How tall was he?
And
And what age?
he matched the description. 100% matched it. 6 foot, same age. He was in his 30s.
And he was
Bushy
in
hair.
the area.
He was minutes from the area.
What's his wife have to say? Or does she ever come forward?
As far as I know, she doesn't say anything.
Hmm.
And by the way, the information I've given you on him, the little bit that I have, that's it. That's all there is. So moving past Lonnie, in 2007, FBI agents contacted investigators in Tennessee about 56-year-old trucker Bruce Mendenhall. The FBI wanted to question Bruce about the murder of Tammy. Bruce was from Southern Illinois. He was arrested July 12, 2007 for the murder of 25-year-old Sarah Holbert at a truck stop in Nashville, Tennessee. Bruce ended up confessing once he was in custody to killing 6 women at truck stops located in Tennessee, Indiana, Alabama, and Georgia.
The hell's with the truckers?
Oh, I did like a quick search. There's 11 or 12 serial killer truck drivers.
Dang.
And that was just doing a quick search. That's not even trying to like really dive in and see how many truckers have killed at least one person. That was trucker serial killers, meaning they've killed more than one person. So no offense to the truckers out there, but whew, these guys don't make you look too good.
Yeah, well, there's pieces of shit in every profession.
That's very true. Some more than others. And I think if you just focus on one, you can definitely make anything look bad.
Mm-hmm.
But Bruce did not confess to Tammy's murder. Ross Rice, an FBI spokesperson in Chicago, said, "We have an over-the-road trucker who's accused of murdering at least one woman, who was abducted at in a roadside situation. This is exactly what happened in the Zywicki case. So that's why, since it kind of fit the profile.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although hopes were temporarily raised for closure in Tammy's cold case, investigators never charged Bruce with her kidnapping, sexual assault, or murder. In
Did
2000,
they ask her or ask him about it, or was he not willing to talk?
they did ask him, and he admitted to the other murders, but not Tammy's. So I think they kind of went along the lines of like, he's already like admitted to all of these other crimes, including murder. So if he's not going to name her off, then and there's no evidence to connect it. But in 2012, as the 20th anniversary of Tammy's death approached, state police said they were pursuing new leads, but here we are 10 years later, and the case still remains unsolved. A total of 13 men were once considered suspects and have been ruled out in some way, shape, or form. I've got a list of the 13 guys, but
they've been ruled out.
But they're ruled out. Okay, so you've got the first guy, Paul Jordan. It just says ruled out as a person of interest. He was 40 in 1992, but it doesn't say why he was ruled out. You've got Major Morris. He was 38 in 1992. They've got next to that, uncertain if still a person of interest. So he could still be a person of interest in this case. But it goes through. I do have a list of them. Some of them have been ruled out by DNA. Others not ruled out at all, like Bruce, but the thing is if they found DNA from Tammy's rape, I feel like these guys should be ruled out by
DNA.
Yeah. And one of these guys I ended up having really connected to Tammy, but then it turned out he was ruled out. So, but I formed a whole case on him, which I will do. His name is Clark Perry Baldwin. I'm not giving you any details on him, but he was 30 in 1992, and he's
a piece of shit, but we don't want to overshadow.
Exactly, which is why he is not going to be discussed in this case. Sadly, Tammy's father, Henry, he passed away in 2015. Joanne, Tammy's mother, is now 80 years old. I can only imagine having to live with the ache for answers and wanting to see justice for Tammy.
Well, let's face it, at this point, I mean, obviously whoever did it needs to answer for it, but even at this point, it's not really justice because they've gone so long being free.
Yeah.
There'll never be justice to the full extent, but at least can have a name of who done it and why.
Yeah.
But I feel like the why is
who done it.
Yeah, I feel like the why is going to be because she was there.
Mm-hmm. And here we are, 30 years later, still no leads or suspects, no chance to close this case for Tammy's family. Tammy is survived by her many loving friends and relatives, including her mother, Joanne, and her 3 brothers, Todd, Dean, and Darren. Again, we will put all the phone numbers and the Facebook page for Tammy on our Facebook page. So I'm pretty sure if you call them and say you have information on Tammy's murder, you will be connected to the right person. You can also reach out to the FBI in Chicago. And again, like I said in the beginning, callers can remain anonymous. You can give our Facebook page, Homicide Hobbies, at Facebook a look and see if you recognize any of Tammy's missing items or if you recognize Tammy. And I do have a sketch of what they said the semi looked like. It's got some diagonal stripes on the trailer and on the side of the cab. But that is the unsolved case of Tammy Zywicki.
Thank you for listening to Homicide Hobbies. I'm Claire.
I'm Andy.
Follow us each week to get your fix of the atrocities that occur in true crime. And don't forget to tell people about us and rate us if you like us. But don't rate us if you didn't. Just change the channel.